Welcome to Let's Play Gran Turismo 3, episode 56. Alright, so the remaining 4 IB events we have to do in this game are officially championship events. And officially, as you would probably know up to this point, we are doing the professional league events now that are under the IB license. I'm officially going to do the first of those, which is the professional Vitz race. And obviously you know exactly which car I'm going to use as well, which is basically this one. And I'm also going to change the rims as well, just to give my car a little bit more character. So I'm going to put these on, and I'm also going to change over to this. And obviously, because this is a professional league event, obviously, I figure tuning is going to be mandatory, so let's put on this shit. And well, don't think I need a racing exhaust, and obviously this thing will probably get more power if I put on a turbo, so that's probably what I'm going to do. And as of which, because this is the professional league, I'm pretty certain I'll probably need a stage 2 turbo one, so I'm going to do that. And oh, that's not where I wanted to go. And I'm also going to give myself the racing transmission, because unfortunately we have to go to test course, and obviously I figure that is compulsory. Another thing I figured that was compulsory is me putting on the super slick tyres. But just in case, I'm also going to get myself the... well, I'll just put on the racing slicks and we'll see how we go. And I'm also going to do some weight reduction to this thing, so then I'll probably have enough to hopefully win 3 out of 5 races. And I'm also going to give this thing an oil change as well, you know, just because I figure that's necessary. And so, let's now head over to our first championship event in the professional league, which is the professional Vitz / Yaris race. And these are the circuits we are going to, so Rome Reverse, Laguna Seca, Test Course, Route 11 Reverse, and Grand Valley Reverse. And officially, 7.5 grand if we can win each of these races. These are the 2 cars we need for this championship, and as of which there are only 2 cars that can enter this championship, and obviously I have one of them, which is the Pink Vitz. And so here we go to race number 1, which takes place at Rome Reverse, and we are going up against the 1.5 models this time. And just to be certain, yep, I have got everything I need, all good, so let's do this. And I'm hopeful in saying that we can win the championship overall via consistency. And I forgot I am not driving a 4-wheel drive car. And as of which, I'm pretty certain it will not be too long before this thing hits top speed, so obviously I probably should be wary of that. And already, as I expected, I'm on the back foot to start off here at Rome Reverse, more or less what I would have expected to happen, even though this thing is front wheel drive. But I am certainly hopeful in saying that whatever it is I have, it is enough for me to hopefully compete with these AI, at least for the first race. Because these AI are definitely quicker than me to start with. I'll definitely give them credit for that. And oh, a little bit of contact between both black and yellow, but fortunately I did manage to forge my way up into 4th position, and I'm now going for 3rd, and officially I am in 4th gear for some reason. Please do not ask why, but I'm just in 4th gear. I guess is the only thing I can really make. And also furthermore, this championship will officially be the first time ever, basically, that we've officially raced at Route 11 reverse. A course which I'm pretty certain I've not raced at yet, and this will probably be the first time where I've actually raced at Route 11 reverse. Because I've raced on the normal Route 11 course probably numerous times by now. I just haven't raced on the... Oh, yeah, there's the top speed. I had a feeling that was going to be an issue. And at the moment, things are not going very well, because I'm running in 4th. Although I'm hoping by the time we get to Laguna Seca, things will be improved. Because at the moment, I am driving terribly, and I am also running in 4th. But fortunately, I do have the tyres I need, so hopefully I will at least manage to put myself in the position I need to be in to hopefully getting the jump on these AI. And as I expected, they are being super aggressive on me. And, oh, fuck you. And I just got bumped into the wall. Because these AI are clearly more superior than me. Unsurprisingly. And I think my car at the moment might be off the pace. But again, the AI usually do prove to be stronger around some of the reverse circuits than the player. And subsequently, this is of course proving that case. And so, to start off this championship, it is not necessarily a good start. But again, it's more or less what I come to expect, and obviously I will be trying my hardest to fight for probably 3rd at the most, if I can manage to retake that position. Or at least if I can possibly pull off a move somewhere. I am still driving terribly at the moment. Oh, fuck you, understeer. Yeah, sorry, I just remembered this thing was front wheel drive. It is understeer I have to worry about. Oh, hi understeer. Oh shit. Can I maybe make a move for the lead? Sorry, a move for 3rd at least. Considering these past 3 laps, the best position I've really been able to manage so far is basically 4th. And I think I might have just over-revved a little. But I still want to try and see if I can catch up to these AI, damn it. And it looks like I am starting to catch up to the leaders now, because apparently as it might be, they're all bunched up pretty much one by one at the moment. So this could be the opportunity I get to maybe make a move for the lead if they stay close to one another. The gap has certainly decreased on that lap, although obviously I also have to make sure I'm not hitting the weather limiter too many times. Which probably will be an issue in some cases, because obviously I have a feeling this AI probably will be quicker than me around certain circuits, but ironically enough, I've actually been on pace with these AI over the 3rd sector of the previous lap. So subsequently there could still be a shot of me winning this thing if everything manages to go my way, and I'm pretty sure it won't, but I'm going to try anyway because obviously I want to. And a little bit of context there with red, but I did at least manage to make the move stick. White is now coming back for a fight, as of which obviously red and white together do make pink, and obviously pink at the moment is leading this thing now. Probably because these AI were wrecking one another. But officially, here we are. I am now leading this race for the first time, and it's taken me nearly 4 laps to make a manoeuvre for the lead. Do not know why I switched over to the bumper view there. And as I expected, these AI are quicker than me through the first sector. But again, I'm being reliant on pit stops to happen, because hopefully if they do manage to happen at the right time, then maybe I might be able to win this thing. But at the moment, these AI are really just literally chewing on my ass. It's like they are literally just not wanting to give in to this fucking race without a fight, essentially. And by God, they are definitely giving me one hell of a fight. Still, I did not think I was going to have the upper hand in the middle stages of this race. And there is a reason why I say middle stages, because obviously I still don't anticipate I'll win this one. But it will surprise me if I do. It will surprise me very much if I do manage to win this race. Because obviously this is a long championship, and I'm pretty certain all of the races are probably 10 laps. Which can probably equate to why exactly this is a long championship, and already 3 of the AI have now pitted. And officially, I think that's now pretty much confirmed in saying that I will probably win this race. I think that's pretty much a combination for the victory. Sorry, confirmation for the victory. Did I say combination? Yeah, I meant confirmation of the victory. And I am beginning to pull away, so these AI must obviously be on worn tyres if I am officially that far ahead. It's probably the only reason why I'm actually leading this thing. It's probably tyres. It's not coming down to skill, it's purely coming down to tyres, methinks. Anyways, I am now coming up to the conclusion of 6 out of 10 laps. Here at Rome Reverse, and this is probably looking like it could very well be a W, judging by what I've seen so far. And officially, it now looks like I could possibly win this race. So, I've got no challenges at the moment. I just hit top speed as I approached the end of the straightaway. And as of which, I can now say I am pretty much streaks ahead of the rest of the field. And everybody else up to this point has pitted, so the undercut is playing a part in this race in comparison to the overcut. Probably could be the decider of the finishing order, and as of which, I can now say I'm pretty much way the fuck ahead of everyone else. Literally 20 seconds ahead of the AI, simply because I have slick tyres. And not because of my skill, purely because of the tyres. because, surprisingly, I'm smart like that. Even though I'm probably not really, but whatever. Anyways, coming down, of course, to the latter parts of this race, as of which I am now 21 seconds clear of this AI, so my lead is increasing, simply because obviously I put on the racing tyres, and it's pretty much suffice to say that I will probably win the first race of this AI pit again, and that is probably what I would anticipate is going to happen. But then again, the AI in the professional league, they usually tend to make probably one stop, so I think I probably am confident enough to say that a win is more or less likely, unless I fuck this up in a big way. And they are starting to close up slightly, but there's no doubt in saying that pit stops have effectively handed me the race, and even though they might be closing in right now, I don't think that's going to be enough to stop me from winning this race. I don't think. And a little bit of understeer there, but officially, whilst these AI are beginning to close in, I'm pretty certain it will probably not be enough to catch up to me by the time this race is done, because we only have 2 laps to go. So, lap 9 of 10 here at Rome Reverse. The gap between myself and the AI is starting to decrease, but again, as a result of pit stops, I would pretty much say that overall, a win has effectively been handed to me. Anyways. Heading through the second section of Coliseum Corners now, making a little bit of contact there with the outside wall, and also sliding on the rears, but managing to keep a hold of this thing. And also, I should have probably pulled my curtain to before I started recording, because the sun has just popped out. Although I don't think it'll be there for too long, because, well, it's basically just been raining and stopping pretty much all fucking day. Pretty much. That's what me thinks. And meanwhile, these AI are still continuing to duke it out for who exactly finishes second in this race. So that is quite a tussle going on. But meanwhile for me, I'm now coming through to starting the 10th and final lap here in Rome. I think now is probably the time for me to say that I am more or less going to win this race. Oh fuck. Unless I make a major mistake, but hopefully that will not happen, and hopefully understeer will not beckon me with its almighty wrath. But officially, I've basically been in total control since lap 4. I managed to take the lead once the AI's tyres were starting to drop off, and then eventually after that, basically since then, I just haven't looked back. And so, I think it's fair to say that it probably is going to be a W here at Rome Reverse, as I am now heading through the final sequence of corners. I'm now heading downhill into the final corner. Second place still not been decided yet. And it's quite a battle going on behind me, but officially, in spite of that, it is going to be a victory in race number 1. And now we are just going to wait for the rest of these AI to finish and see who finishes where. Considering obviously 5th and 6th are pretty much decided up to this point. So, silver finishes in 2nd, then it is white, followed by red, yellow is 5th, and then at the back is black. So these are the point standings after one race. So 1 dub to me and 0 to the AI so far, as of which it took me less than 17 minutes to finish this first race. And my front tyres are definitely worn up to this point. But those are your point standings after race 1. And hopefully I can manage to win possibly another 2. So there we go, that was race 1. And let's now move onwards to race number 2, which takes place at Laguna Seca. And I'm pretty certain I can probably win here as well, because the AI don't seem to be as competent around this circuit as they are other circuits. I mean, even though I haven't won at LSR every time I've been here, obviously I'm pretty certain that since I know this is a championship race and the AI have not particularly had a favourable history of besting me around this track, I'm pretty certain by the time their tyres drop off, if they do drop off, I am pretty certain I probably will manage to take the lead as a result of their tyres dropping off, because apparent as it might be, I think tyres are probably going to play a key role in this championship, as I was predicting it would be. Anyways, gap is currently increasing at the moment, but that's only because his AI are on pretty much less durable tyres than myself, and officially I am already making a bid for an overtake, and just following the corkscrew I am now up into the 5th position, and hopefully at the end of this lap I'll be able to make it 4th. And braking hard for the corner. I think I also got airborne as I went through the final corner, but officially I am now up into 4th position, and I am currently 3.3 seconds behind the leader. But again, it's fine, because I'm pretty certain I will manage to take the lead once these AI pit, and then once they have, hopefully I can basically just run away with this race, is what me thinks. So gap might be increasing at the moment, but I'm pretty certain their tyres probably will drop off eventually, because they usually do, and then obviously that is effectively when I will pounce. Unless the pit stop margins go beyond the amount of seconds you get to catch them up, and then I might be in in trouble, but again, it's more or less what happened in Rome Reverse, because I almost thought for sure these AI were going to have a cushion on me, but in the end they didn't, because they were probably on worn tyres, and then eventually, as a result of that, that was effectively what got me to the victory, and I just cut the corner again. By accident. Anyways, we are now 2 laps into this race, and officially the gap has now decreased very slightly to pretty much 3.8 seconds. But hopefully, once these AI do manage to make a pit stop, that is officially when I will be able to pass them, possibly for the lead. Even though they do appear to be quicker than me through the first sector. But again, if I do manage to win here, then it's more or less what I'll anticipate. So these AI appear to be more residual than me through the first 2 sectors, but officially I'm able to close up again in the second 2 sectors, essentially sectors 3 and 4, because there are 4 sectors on a lot of tracks in this game. And closing in once again, gap has now decreased to 3.5 seconds, so I'm definitely closing in through that final sector. That's one thing I can confirm for sure. I'm definitely closing in on the leaders now, as we now approach the end of the 3rd lap, and officially my best lap time at the moment is pretty much a 1:33.4. And I am catching up to the 3rd placed car, which is black. So white is leading, silver is 2nd, black is 3rd, I am in 4th, ahead of yellow, and then at the back is red. For the classification order here at Laguna Seca so far. Don't know if I over-revved the engine there, but again, it's pretty weird on how this thing's red zone is at 6,000, starts at 6,000 RPM, and then suddenly the red light doesn't start flashing until you're basically up to about 6,500 RPM for some reason. Seems pretty weird in my honest opinion, but again, that could just be me. And why do I keep cutting this final corner when I shouldn't be? Yeah, by the way, I'm not doing that intentionally, and yep, the gap has definitely closed up on this lap, and so I'm pretty certain I might be able to get myself a possible W in this race. But it will just depend on knowing if I will manage to take the lead before we get down to the final lap. But the gap is definitely closing, because it was 2.6 seconds to start the 5th lap, and now suddenly as we head through the 1st sector it's now down to 2.3 seconds. So their tyres, as I expected, must be going off up to this point. Tyres are pretty much worn off, methinks, and gap to the leader now is 1.7 seconds. So I would assume up to this point a win is on the cards as we head through Corkscrew, even though obviously this is not going to be the lap to pass. But I'm pretty certain I can probably get him on the next lap, as the gap is now under a second. Oh, fuck me. I forgot those were sand pits. And why I shifted down into second, I will probably never know. Guess it's just because of how stupid I am. Okay. Well, gap increased on that lap, but I'm still hopeful in saying that I will manage to take the lead eventually. Even then, of course, if obviously... Oh, fuck. I am still continuing to cut corners with understeer. Can I please stop doing that? Meanwhile, I am starting to close in on the leader again, so victory is not completely out of the question, but I am hoping I can make a possible bid for the lead before the end of this race. Even then, of course, if it comes down to being an act of desperation. So, closing in. Can I maybe get a manoeuvre on the inside? Nope, not here. And the inside line is open. And officially, I managed to move myself up into first place, and oh, okay, he's pitted. Well, that's more or less what I was expecting to happen, and everyone comes into the pits. And officially, that has basically handed first place over to me. Simply because of my extendable tyre longevity. And hopefully, I can now hold on to hopefully take the race win for the second time. Even though I did put on the semi-racing suspension for a reason, because I had a feeling this thing probably would be difficult to turn if I didn't do this, and obviously, in a way that's effectively what I did, and as of which, at the moment, I am definitely starting to witness the difference it makes. As I now head through Corkscrew for the 7th time now here at Laguna Seca, down the hill and heading past the scoring pylon. And entering the final corner once again. Getting some wheel spin for good measure, obviously from the front tyres, and officially this is probably where this AI will start to close up. So this probably will be a closer race than Rome was, but officially I'm pretty certain now that I have the lead, I can hopefully manage to hold on to the lead, maybe. I still cannot stop cutting that corner. Which is probably one thing I need to do. Okay, well the gap is starting to decrease, probably because they are on fresh rubber. So gap is definitely decreasing as a result of the pit stop, but again, I am hopefully confident enough to say that I will manage to win this race. Even then, of course, if I am doing this on one front tyres. Anyways. I am still continuing to cut each of these corners where I shouldn't be. Anyways. We have just 2 laps to go now here at Laguna Seca. And dependent on knowing if this will be a guaranteed victory or not, that remains to be seen. Because these AI are definitely looking quicker at the present time. Gap is now pretty much 15.4 seconds and still closing. So I could be under pressure before the end of this race, but I'm hopeful in saying that I won't be. But officially, whilst these AI are rapidly closing in, since this is not an endurance race, I am hopeful in saying that I will manage to take the checkered flag for this race. Unfortunately for me, however, there is only 1 lap left, so all I have to do is just not bottle this, and then hopefully, to quoting Stuart Gilligan-Griffin, victory will be mine! Well, it doesn't say victory is mine. Anyways, Family Guy reference. Meanwhile, final lap here at LSR, and I'm hopeful in saying that this will be the lap for the money. So officially, I now just have pretty much another 7 corners left to navigate, and then once I've managed to clear corkscrew, hopefully I should be home free. Even though I'm pretty certain Route 11 reverse will be probably more of a challenge, because the AI appear to be more preferable around Route 11 reverse than myself, even though obviously it's taken me pretty much up to this long in the game to officially race at Route 11 reverse, so I honestly don't know what's going to happen. Anyways, final corner, and officially gap is still continuing to close, but it will not be enough to prevent me from winning this race, as which it is W number 2 to the Pink Vitz. And it took me just under 16 minutes to finish that race. So white finishes in second once again, ahead of silver. Black finishes in 4th, then it is red in 5th, and then at the back is yellow. And the next race will probably be much longer because, well, we are going to fucking test course. Anyways, 10 points to me, 6 to white, 4 to silver, 3 to black, 2 to red, and 1 to piss boy. And officially, these are the current standings, and oh, okay. Correction, we have a tie for second, and at the moment I am officially double the points of the 2 cars tied for second. Red still holds on to 4th ahead of black, and then at the back with 3 points is still yellow. Anyways, let's move on to the shitty oval, and then once we've done this, we will not have to come back to this. And obviously, I'm not going to do this without the racing transmission, so I figure this is going to be important. Hopefully that should be enough speed, but yeah, I'll just do that, just in case. and hopefully we should be guaranteed a W. Anyways, let's get the shitty oval over with, and then I will never have to do this race again. And yes, I did basically just buy the racing transmission so I could win this race with relative ease, basically. I know this isn't the way I would usually do it, but the truth is, I'm basically going to be hitting my rev limiter pretty much so many fucking times there really isn't anything else I can do in reaction. To this AI just literally constantly continuing to hit the rev limiter. And obviously, since I would imagine they're probably going to be doing that a lot in this race, this is officially where I will excel. Because I'm pretty much at about probably about 150, meanwhile those back there are probably doing somewhere over about probably 130, methinks. So their speed's probably max out at 130, meanwhile my speed I have increased to pretty much over... to pretty much over probably 160. Although I don't think I really need 6th gear, so I'm basically just going to keep this thing in 5th gear until I hit the rev limiter. But officially, that's basically my strategy towards winning this race. And I think one thing I have established is that, well, it is not necessary for me to shift up into 6th gear, so I'm just going to leave that where it is. But yeah, I basically just bought the racing transmission simply because I just want to get this fucking race over with so that I don't have to come back here and repeat this race. I basically just decided to take the cowardly way out of this. Some people might call it cheating, but it's exactly what I can probably label as being victory. Considering obviously it's taken me less than 3 minutes to set my first lap, and I am pretty certain this will probably be longer than that. Well, not necessarily all of the races, but again, like I've said before, if there is really any course that I hate more than complex string, and I have said this probably dozens of times before, then it has to be task course. So I basically just decided to take the cowardly way out, and I basically just decided I wasn't going to be bothered about hitting my rev limiter so many fucking times, because that's all I think that's really going to happen. Even though obviously this will probably be the only race I'll actually use the customizable transmission, because I think for the other 2 races I'll probably be okay, but however, I'm pretty certain this is probably just going to be a long race anyways, so I really don't have any reasons to stop doing what I'm currently doing, and basically the only thing I can really do at the moment is just basically continue going flat out in pretty much 5th gear, basically trying not to burn a piston. possibly even a head gasket or a valve cover or a cylinder head, like I would probably usually do if I was doing this in real life. So at the moment I'm just really not that bothered. But again, I figured it would be simpler. Simpler for me to take the easy way out, so that's pretty much what I did. Anyways, my second lap has been set, and pretty much over 2.5 minutes. And even though it may look like I'm literally so close to probably hitting the rev limiter, realistically I'm actually not that close. Although, it will surprise me if I do manage to make this event a clean sweep, because that probably will surprise me. If this championship event overall is a clean sweep, even though I'm doubtless it probably won't, because, well, I'm pretty certain after test course, these AI probably will be stronger than me for the final 2 races, methinks. Even though I do have the stage 2 turbo kit on this thing, I'm pretty certain this will probably not last much longer. The winning, I mean. Also, furthermore, we've nearly driven 3 laps, and furthermore, my tyres have basically absorbed pretty much no fucking damage whatsoever at the moment. Although one thing I can say at the very least about test course is the fact I'm saying that it is very much a tyre-friendly circuit. So I don't think pit stops are going to be happening too soon. Excuse me for yawning. But again, I'm also pretty certain it is not going to be too much longer before I manage to achieve my goal. Yo! I was so close to hitting the wall, but surprisingly I did not. And by 2/10 I improved on my best lap time. And because I am way the fuck ahead of everyone else, I'm able to scratch my nose. But again, I am patient enough to wait for these AI to finish. Because, obviously, that is very much one thing I figure I need to do. But yeah, I mean, to basically shorten the length of this championship, I just decided I was going to just put on the racing transmission for this one event. Because I knew very well this was clearly going to be the longest race. And I am still continuing to go. I'm also trying to adjust my feet. But yeah, I mean, if this was in real life right now, my engine would probably be cooked. Because I'm pretty certain there is no way in hell an engine can officially stay in the red zone for this long without shifting up. But the only reason why I'm keeping this in 5th gear is basically because, well, my speed will drop off if I do shift up into 6th. Although, it doesn't really matter too much because, well, I'm basically just, you know, dominating this race by proxy of the racing transmission anyway, so really don't think I can say anything else up to this point. Except for saying thank God for remembering to put on the racing transmission. So my lap times at the moment are relatively even though I'm pretty certain before the end of this one I probably will overlap the entire field, because there is quite a tussle going on for who exactly will finish in 2nd position. It is probably going to be a very close race, methinks, for the rest of the pack. Considering obviously they've basically probably hit their top speeds, probably constant times by now. I am still continuing to, and I think since I probably do have the time to do this, I could very well take a sip of water if I really wanted to up to this point. You know what, I think I will do that, because I'm way the fuck ahead of everyone else basically. Did it. I took a sip of water right before I entered the 2nd part of the bankings. Considering obviously this course is basically the same shape as Dover, except for saying it's much longer. Well, my lap times at the moment are relatively even, so really don't think there's anything else I can do. Anyways, I am now at the halfway point of this race, and officially it has taken me 13 minutes to get this far. And I'm probably anticipating that officially this race will probably take around about possibly 26 minutes, methinks. By mathematical proxy. If it's taken me this long to get this far in the race, whilst I knew very well most of you are probably moaning about me not having any competition for this race. But again, if you wish to put the blame on me, then obviously yeah, go ahead. You can blame me for making this race very boring. But, at the very least, I'm not constantly hitting the red limiter and waiting for my engine to cut out. Some of you will probably thank me for this, but others will probably hate me for this. Because this is a race where I am not supposed to be good. But obviously, I still decided to be good anyway, because, well, you know, racing transmission. Also, because furthermore, test course is basically a long-ass course. So yeah, there is that. As I am still continuing to yawn heavily over the dullness that I'm facing right now. And there has actually been an overtake for second place, as of which second place has now been given to yellow. But again, I would imagine it's either this lap or the next lap that I will probably make an overtake for the lead. And I was actually quicker on that lap. But again, because it takes so fucking long for me to set one lap around this course, it is just one of the main reasons as to why I hate this course. And I'm pretty certain it will probably be this lap that I overlap his AI. I think I might as well confirm that. And it's probably going to take them a long ass time for them to finish this race by the time I've overlapped them. Because again, I will probably be streaks ahead. Alright, so all I can really say is that, well, since I took the lead here at test course, I've basically just been dominating. And the dice for second, as I expected, is still continuing to trade hands. And if I can manage to get a slipstream on this lap, then I'm pretty certain this lap will probably be my fastest, because the draft is so powerful around here that it's almost unreal. And you can also draft his AI from quite a distance as well. They could probably do the same thing to the player as well, methinks. So there we go. It has taken me nearly 7 full laps, but I have officially overlapped his AI. And as of which, I can now say that I've pretty much overlapped the AI in this race. By proxy of me just putting on the racing transmission, because that is how much more beneficial it is to use around here than the normal transmission. And now, I really don't care if you appreciate or depreciate me for this, but the truth is, I'm basically just displaying how exactly you can dominate this race, and as of which, up to this point, it'll probably take them a long time to finish this race, because I will have probably crossed the line long before this AI will have done. Although at the very least I won't have to wait for all of them to finish, because all of them are pretty much going at the same speed. Although, unfortunately, the game doesn't tell me that I'm one lap ahead of them, because that's exactly when my margins disappear. But yeah, besides that, I'm pretty certain this will probably be an easy dub, because of how much quicker my car was. And also after this I will have just 2 laps left. But again, I will be so glad to finally get away from test course, because fuck test course. I've said it before and I will say it again. I hate test course. Because you're basically just doing a full lap of driving the shitty oval without actually getting turns on both sides. You're basically just turning left 4 times. it's basically pretty much even quicker and longer than Talladega Super Speedway, which of course is officially the world's quickest speedway facility. But obviously I'm not a fan of that, nor am I a fan of the Daytona Speedway, simply because you're basically just doing that for probably lap after lap after lap after lap after lap. Just basically going fast and turning left pretty much 4 times. And you're basically just waiting for someone within a pack to basically cause the big one, which is essentially the crash. Which is essentially the crash that you usually tend to see on super speedway courses. Sometimes even on short tracks as well, but mainly on super speedway courses, officially. But it's fine, because I only have 2 laps left. And I am hopeful in saying that this will effectively be the 3 wins I need to officially win the championship. But again, I'm certainly not going to anticipate I will win every race, because I'm pretty certain this AI probably will have the upper hand on me at Route 11, even if they do make a pit stop. Because Route 11 is more of a favourable circuit to the AI, essentially. And I am hoping that, regardless of what happens next, we can finally just basically run like fucking hell by the time this race is done. Also, furthermore, I'm literally right next to the guardrail. And also, furthermore, these bankings are very much reminiscent to the Monza bankings because of how high these things are. Also, furthermore, I'm now running the Richard Petty line, because he always knew how to run high whenever he raced around super speedways, methinks. And it probably looks like this race could be under 26 minutes, if I'm fortunate enough. But again, I'm willing to bet by the length that it'll probably be somewhere about 25 minutes. But ultimately, from what I can work out, as I now start the final lap here at test course, is that officially it will probably take this AI as long to finish this race as it probably will be with me pretty much going to the restroom, which is probably what I'll do by the time I've finished this race. But yeah, these bankings are very much reminiscent of the old Monza bankings, because obviously there's only really a single patch of guardrail that is officially surrounding the top part of these bankings, and realistically there would be no way you would be able to officially host a race on this type of course because of safety concerns officially, unless you're doing a top speed test, but ultimately overall this is still a course I hate. I'm so glad to know that this race is almost over. So once I am done with this race, I can basically just wait for everybody else to finish, and then once they have, we can officially move onwards to Route 11. Please be the finish. Please be the finish. Alright, we are done at the shitty oval. And it took me 25 minutes and 39 seconds to finish 10 laps around fucking test course. Jesus Christ. Also furthermore, my rear tyres have basically taken in no damage at all, because that's literally how much of a tyre saver test course really is. And so, officially, let's now wait for the rest of these AI to finish this fucking race, as of which that is exactly what I'm going to do. So let's do that. Who will it be at the line? And it is officially white that takes second place ahead of black, red finished in fourth ahead of silver, and then at the back once again it was officially Piss Boy. And as of which, as a result of me putting on the racing transmission, I have officially overlapped the field and pretty much won by more or less a lap and a bit. But officially, at the moment, it's a clean sweep for me, ahead of white. Silver is still third. We now have a tie for fourth between black and red, and then at the back, it is still Piss Boy. So, I think it's fair to say that it's only really consistency up to this point that I need to worry about. And officially, I can now pretty much say that no matter what happens from this point onwards, as long as I can be consistent enough to finish in probably third or higher in the final two races, then officially, excuse me, I will officially be able to win. Actually, you know what? I don't think I need the transmission on anymore. But yeah, I will officially be consistent enough to win the championship overall. So, penultimate race of the professional Vitz / Yaris race. And hopefully this will not take as long as test course. Even though it probably will, because, well, it's a street circuit. Shifting up into second gear this time so I can limit wheel spin, and you usually do tend to get quite a bit of tyre wear when you go around Route 11, but for the first time in this game, officially after pretty much all of this fucking time, we are officially at Route 11 reverse. Considering I've basically driven on the normal course so many times, and it's pretty much taken me up to this point in the game to officially experience the reverse course. And as I expected, from the start I am officially at the disadvantage. However, I am still keen to prove myself of being a possible threat for the race W, as of which tyre wear here of course at Route 11 reverse already proving to be much more deflatable than it was at test course, and where officially all I need to be now up to this point is consistent. Because There have been times where I've won 3 out of 5 races in a championship, and I've notably been consistent enough to win the championship overall. But officially, because these AI have been trading positions pretty much backwards and forwards, that is effectively what has managed to keep me ahead. And officially, since I have managed to win 3 out of the first 3 races up to this point, I am pretty confident that I have probably won enough races to officially win the championship overall. And since I do not have the racing transmission on anymore, I am deeply hoping my speed will not be a major concern, as I just hit it there, but I'm not in any slipstreams at the moment. The field is quite closely packed here at Route 11 reverse, and where I'm basically hoping by the time his AI officially make their first pit stop, or at least by hopefully the end of lap 4, I might be able to possibly make a bid for the lead, but we shall wait and see. But officially we are back to basics, because we are back to real racing, and not just going flat out on a shitty oval, which is basically what we were doing in the previous race. Because I'm pretty sure somebody must have probably said, why don't we include test course in almost every event of the Go Race section? And then they basically just said yes for some reason, and then they probably just decided they were wanting to put test course in basically most events in this game. And the truth is, I haven't officially been a huge fan of test course, considering obviously they extended it for pretty much this game and Gran Turismo 4. Even though obviously in GT4 they don't have test course in anywhere near as many events as they do in this game. And that's basically the main reason on why I hate test course about as much as I do. And as I expected, these AI in this race are proving, of course, to be better than me. And I almost hit the pit wall there, but fortunately, however, I am not having too many problems at the present time, even though obviously I am not competing for the lead. And I am waiting for their tyres to fall off so I can maybe make some moves to improve from 6th, because I do not think I'm going to win this race. I mean, as much as I would like to win this race, the truth is, I would think personally it seems unlikely for me to officially win this race. And my front tyres are taking a significant amount of damage up to this point. And at the moment I am not competing for the lead. But I would say the best position I can compete for at the present time is probably 3rd up to this point, but at the moment it doesn't even look like I'm going to compete for that unless their tyres start falling off, or unless I make a desperate attempt for the position, which is one thing I'm not prepared to do because, well, that would include me cheating, and the truth is with me, I'm trying my hardest not to cheat, because I have done that a few times before in this game, and I'm hoping to not do it this time. Although in saying that, I probably will cheat at some point. But But it won't be for intentional purposes, it'll probably just be by accident. Meanwhile, tyres are officially starting to become part of this race, and as a result I have now moved up into 5th position. And I'm still wondering on knowing if I should have left the racing transmission on for this race, but I opted not to. And almost went for a manoeuvre on yellow, but it looks like the first hairpin might be the best place for me to take 4th position, and I go even better because I now move up into 3rd position. And at the moment I am not paying attention. And as I expected, these AI are fighting back. But again, I'm trying to stay in the draft, I'm trying to keep myself digging in this hunt for for 3rd place, considering obviously I would think first up to this point is probably a no-go. But if I do manage to secure 3rd place in this race, then obviously I will be more than happy with the results. And made some contact with yellow, and black has made some contact with me. But again, he leaves the door wide open. I officially slot myself through that door, and I am now up into 3rd position. And I think going for the lead up to this point, unless they pit, is probably a no-go, but again, I will try my hardest to see if I can officially have any hope in the world of possibly winning this race. Although realistically my chances are probably slim to none, because his AI realistically have looked quicker on this circuit than me, and I'm pretty certain that unless they pit on this lap or the next, I don't think I'm going to be making a dice for the lead, or possibly rolling the dice for the race lead, because I'm pretty certain even if I do take the lead, it will probably not be held for long, because his AI appear to be more competent around Route 11 than they are other circuits, and I think this is probably one of those circuits that is more favourable to the AI than it is me. But regardless of how sadly poignant it may sound, I am still pretty certain that if I can manage to atone myself to this sort of racing, then maybe I might be able to take the lead. Although realistically, my chances are very slim until they make a pit stop, as of which I would predict their tyres have probably worn off up to this point, which is probably the only reason why I'm managing to keep up with them at the moment. But realistically, if I do manage to win this race, then I will be shocked. But obviously, I'm not going to fight him too long, because I have a feeling they probably will be wanting to stay ahead of me anyway. But again, unless they come into the pits, as of which one of them is coming into the pits, and oh, okay, they're all going into the pits. Officially, I would imagine my chances of winning this race have increased, but they have not increased by too much. I don't think. And it doesn't look like the undercut is going to pay off. Here at Route 11, I don't think. So the undercut does not look like it's going to pay off too much, because the second placed car has already moved out of the pits, as has the third placed car, and yellow has now pretty much rejoined in fourth. So the undercut, not as beneficial on this circuit as it might be other circuits. Meanwhile, I'm now 21 seconds clear, but I'm pretty certain that interval will shrink, because the AI have definitely looked quicker on this fucking maze of a circuit than me. And the reason why I say maze is basically because you literally have to navigate yourself around the corners to understand pretty much the lateral contraflow of what this course really has. So, as I expected, the interval is shrinking. So these AI on fresher tyres definitely proving to catch up to me. And I'm pretty certain it will probably not be too long before one of them passes me for the lead. Although, at the moment of course, tyre mileage for these past few laps, it's actually been better than I expected. Because I'm actually not seeing as much tyre wear on this set of boots than maybe I thought I was going to see. But officially, I am now completing 6 laps here at Route 11 and hitting the rev limiter pretty much once again as I approach the end of the straightaway, and these AI are definitely catching up to me because they are on fresher tyres than I am. And it would not surprise me if sooner or later the leader does manage to pass me for the lead. Because I don't think this is officially my sort of circuit. At least if you compare me to the AI. Because even though I've basically driven probably hundreds of laps around this circuit, the truth is I'm still pretty certain the AI will probably have the upper advantage on me. At least that is until their tyres wear off. But officially, at the moment, the Pink Vitz rides again in the lead, by default of tyre longevity. And oh shit! And I just made a mistake. So these AI are continuing to close in, and I'm pretty certain whoever the leader is, I would imagine it will not be too long before he tries to pass me for first place, because that is exactly what I think is going to happen. So heading up to the bridge now. I think that's meant to be a similar shape to the Golden Gate Bridge, but obviously that could just be me. And officially, I scraped the outside wall, but again, it's fine, because I've already won 3 out of 5 races up to this point, and I don't know how much longer my tyres are set to last before they officially wear off, but I'm pretty certain, even though these AI at the end of the race will have worn tyres, I'm pretty certain I will probably be the same, because these AI have been closing in on me at a vast rate of knots. and I honestly don't think by the time they do catch up to me I will officially be able to fight him off. Because that gap is closing rapidly, and I'm pretty certain it's only a matter of time before the inevitable happens. Because they will pass me before this race is done. I can guarantee it, they will definitely pass me. Or at least, I can say the leader will definitely pass me. Because that is what my prediction is. Now some people may not agree with this sort of method, but obviously it's a method I basically agree with because obviously this course is more beneficial to these AI than it is to me. And even though the gap is now currently 12 seconds, I would imagine it's only a matter of time before they officially close in on me for the lead, and I think my right front tyre is going down. Although, up to this point in the race, there really is no point in pitting, so all I can really do is basically just tough it out. Anyways, entering the final corner now of the reverse course and heading back up to the start-finish line. I officially have just 2 laps to go. My front tyres are definitely worn, and I'm pretty certain by the time we get to Gran Valley I will need to put on the super slicks. And pretty much easing off the throttle right before I get to the corner because I know I'll hit top speed before then. And the gap is now 11 seconds and still closing in. Meanwhile, gap is now 10 seconds. And I'm pretty certain by the end of this lap, the leader will probably retake the position because my right front tyre is almost dead. Because my right front tyre at the moment is close to being dead. Just literally shot to the ground, basically. And come on. Oh crap! Yep, that is the effect of that is the effect of understeer. Especially if you are on worn tyres like I am. And the leader, as I expected, he has inevitably closed in. Gap is now 7 seconds, so inevitably I would anticipate on the following lap he probably will pass me because he is on fresher tyres than I am. And I think it's now pretty much fair to say that my right front tyre is dead. But again, there's no point in coming in for a stop because obviously it would just put me all the way back to last, and that is precisely how I could lose this championship, and I'm hoping that does not turn out to be the case. So I think the best thing I can really do up to this point is just tough it out. I may not win this race, but it's the only way I will truly be able to survive with a promising finish. So, just got one more lap to go, and even though my right front tyre is now dead, because it's pretty much in the red zone, there really isn't anything else I can do up to this point except tough it out. And officially, the first of these AI to pit has now officially gone into the pits, and the leader has caught up to me, and don't think there's any point in fighting him, so I'm just going to let him go. Because my right front tyre is dead, and it's probably best if I just concede the position to the silver Yaris. Considering obviously I basically just need pretty much 2 consistent finishes from this point onwards, and then if I am officially consistent enough, I will still win the championship anyway. But again, the silver Yaris passing me for the lead, that was pretty much inevitable, because I knew very well that was unavoidable by the time my right front tyre hit the red zone, and all I'm really hoping for now is to hold on to second place. So silver has pretty much just checked out of this thing. Meanwhile, for me, I'm only hoping that, in spite of me running on very worn tyres, I'm hoping I will at least manage to not have a repeat of Kimi Räikkönen. Hopefully this will not be a repeat of Kimi Räikkönen at the Nürburgring in 05, where he basically tries to nurse his car home to the end of the race, and basically on the final lap the tyre fails. But fortunately, because tyre failures do not happen in this game, I will at least manage to officially coast this thing home to a second place finish. It is good enough for me, and ultimately, overall, I have managed to survive the adversity of this race to eventually come home in second position. That is good enough for me, because I knew for sure I was not going to win this race on my first time out here, considering it's basically the reverse of Route 11. But officially, in the end of that, I managed to finish in second, which oddly enough is more than good enough for me to officially clinch the championship in the final round. And there's the yellow Yaris. So silver won that race, I was second ahead of black, then it was red in fourth, followed by white, and then at the back was officially Piss Boy once again, because he is yellow. So 3 wins to me, and officially 1 to silver, as he now subsequently takes second place back in the championship, and as of which the results for the rest of the point standings pretty much decided, and I am very much confirmed as the champion. Pretty much. And since I do not have a replay saved at Route 11 reverse, I might as well save this one. But yeah, I mean, I finished second in that race, and that's more than good enough for me. And the truth is with me, I played this race fair and square. I did not cheat once. But since I know Gran Valley is certainly going to be a tyre chomper, obviously, I'm gonna pretty much do no bullshit and just put on the super slicks. And pretty much from here, all I can really do is hope for the best. So, final race of the professional Vitz Yaris race, and where, mathematically, I am confirmed as the champion. So no matter what the AI do at this point, I am officially champion no matter what happens. Because I have a 14-point advantage going into this race, and I'm pretty certain that if I do manage to win this race, and if silver finishes in second, then that will pretty much be an 18-point advantage. But it is nice to end this race under the sun, end this championship under the sunset of Gran Valley Reverse. Officially, the gap at the moment is 2.5 seconds, but I put on the super slicks for this race because I know very well there's no way in hell that my fucking slick tyres will officially survive Gran Valley without me pitting, whereas the super slicks, because they are the most durable tyre, I'm pretty certain they will survive. So yeah, so overall, it was a pretty good effort for me to eventually finish in second at Route 11 reverse, which oddly enough was one position I did not expect myself to finish in. But fortunately, however, in the end, I did. And if I do win this race or not, I will still pretty much be the champion anyway, because I basically won the first 3 races. Because officially, I basically won the first 3 races anyway, so the truth is, I'm really not feeling that intimidated over winning or losing this race. More or less, just trying to post myself a good finish so I can finish this championship on a high. But a win, I still don't know. Anyways, we are at the end of lap 1 here in the last race of the professional Vitz/Yaris race, and only twice I have officially hit the levelancer. Slotting down the inside of black, had to be a little bit aggressive there, going through the kink, but fortunately I do manage to make the maneuver stick, and as I say that, Gran now takes over 4th. Because I had to curse myself. And also because these AI are clearly faster than me on this course. I am getting punted by black. So the black Vitz gives me a little bit of a nudge there, but fortunately I have not lost control of this thing yet. And as of which, I have officially driven this thing for pretty much over 193 miles, which I believe is equivalent to 312 kilometers, even though that's probably 194 miles overall, methinks. Okay, now it's probably 194. But officially, I am now up into the 4th position, where hopefully I can manage to achieve a possible victory here at Gran Valley Reverse. I already have a replay saved, so that is one of my dilemmas sorted out. I won the first 3 races, and I am certainly hoping that I will manage to win the final race. As I now hit the rev limiter once again, and I am going to do it almost for a second time, but because I am on much fresher tyres than I was at the end of Route 11, officially the top speed itself is a kilometre higher. And since I'm on the inside of the exit, that is officially what has allowed me to skate my way up into 2nd position. So Silver is currently leading this thing. I am in 2nd, white is 3rd, yellow 4th, red is still currently in 5th, but looks like that position could be changing hands, and then at the back of the moment is black. In terms of the running order here at Gran Valley, and gap is now under 1.3 seconds. So I'm definitely slicing that margin down to Silver. Silver will probably not be keeping a hold of this lead much longer, since I am on the more durable tyres. And a little bit of contact there as we go through the hairpin. He's got the better exit here, for the time being, but I'm hoping I do manage to fight back and possibly regain that position. And I'm having to run on the grass, but going for a manoeuvre around the outside and almost sold Silver a dummy, but unfortunately the dummy trick is not going to work unless I can probably beat him down to the first corner, although it doesn't look like that's going to happen either. And we both hit top speed, and I just got the call. So we are too wide heading into the chicane. I have the initial opening, and contact is still continuing to be made, and officially I am now up into the first position now for the first time here at Gran Valley, as we enter the first tunnel and head across the bridge. Now heading into the second tunnel for the fourth time, as of which his laps are more or less over 2 minutes long. And now heading into these series of sharp turns, means as we now head down into the first hairpin, and I am continuing to extend my interval. And officially what I can now say is, well, the second position is trying to trade hands between Silver and White, but I would imagine Silver pretty much has the upper hand, considering obviously he emerged the victor at Route 11 reverse in the previous race, and where mathematically I pretty much clinched the championship. And if I do manage to win this race, then this will probably be more or less 4 out of 5, and as I expected, his AI have pitted, and because they pitted on the 4th lap, they are probably guaranteed to pit in on at the end of the 8th lap, and so I am pretty certain that whilst these AI are probably going to be making 2 stops in this race, that I am pretty much guaranteed the victor of this shit. And I have officially won 4 out of 5 races in this championship. And of course, I did learn my lesson from Gran Valley not too long ago. And basically, that lesson was, it was in the GT All-Stars, but the lesson I learned from Gran Valley is, well, basically, don't use the racing slick tyres if it's in the long run. Use the super slick tyres if you are going to win, because that is exactly the scenario that I saw at this very circuit in the GT All-Stars, and obviously it was ultimately because of that I officially learned my lesson on knowing what exactly I have to do to win this. And that's basically just go for the super slicks and hope for the best. And that is a gravel trap. The gap is now 28 seconds, but I'm pretty sure that margin will close up as we head into the second half of this race, and and I'm only less than 3/10 off my PB, but I'm still pretty certain I'll probably win this race, because obviously it seems inevitable that these AI will hit in again at the end of lap 8, and then by the time they do pit in, that's officially when I can basically just go off and dominate the rest of this race. So far, this is currently the longest segment I've had to do in this fucking game. Meanwhile, these AI are officially starting to close in. But again, it will only be for a temporary amount of time, because I clearly have the most durable tyres here. I am pretty certain I will manage to win this race by a comfortable margin. Because these AI will certainly have to pit in again for tyres at the end of lap 8, methinks, and then when they do, that is pretty much when I can basically just run away with the rest of this race, because that is all I really predict is going to happen. Basically. Although then again, margins are currently increasing at the moment, so I'm actually not too concerned about what's going on with these AI at the moment, because I'm still pretty certain they will pit again, because they have to. Otherwise, if they didn't, they would basically just be sliding all over the fucking place. Although I'm only hoping the other 3 championships that I do will be last time to record than this one. And even though that's probably just me, the truth is, with me, I am adamantly hopeful in saying that overall I will manage to officially complete this game, or at least complete this championship, hopefully before probably 8 PM, or at least 7:45 PM. But yeah, it has definitely taken me a long time to do 5 races in pretty much 2 fucking hours, basically. But I got the longest race out of the way, which was clearly test course, and as a result, I can now say that overall I am probably going to dominate the rest of this race, and in saying that, I officially set a new best lap time with a 2:10.7 as my new best lap, in comparison to it previously being a 10.8. Oh, fuck. I hit the inside wall. Considering obviously that inside wall is concrete. Anyways, heading across the bridge now. Now into the second tunnel. And going across to the third tunnel now. In this relatively curved straight. And ultimately, there is just 2 laps left by the time this lap is complete. And as I predicted by default of my tyre longevity, I am officially going to win this race by a very comfortable margin. Considering I am currently a fat 31 seconds ahead of the AI at the present time, I am pretty sure that margin will only increase because they have to pit on this lap in order to officially make it. And even though I could pit in myself if I really wanted to, but the truth is I'm not really going for a fastest lap because, well, I've already got the fastest lap. And in saying that, I set a new fastest lap to compensate, as of which my new best lap time is now 2 minutes 10.5 seconds at the end of lap 8. And fortunately for me at least, I do not have to do a Rhino GT4 and basically do all of the championships in one segment, because, well, I do not have time to do that, and my prediction was correct. They have indeed pitted in for the second time, and the gap is now pretty much more or less 39 seconds. So I would say for a Toyota Vitz, the laps I'm currently setting, I would say they are probably worthy of a lap record in this car. Well, probably not a lap record because I'm not running on racing softs, but again, in spite of me not running on quali tyres, I'm still pretty certain that I'm probably going to win this race with relative ease, because the gap is now pretty much less than a minute. And also, I just blinked. Through the final corner now to officially starting our final lap here in race 5 of the Vitz/Yaris race. And ultimately overall I only have one race I need to sweep up, and officially my lap times at the moment are pretty much getting faster lap after lap at the moment, methinks. Running a little bit wide there, but fortunately not scraping the concrete barrier, as I am now heading through this section of billboards once again, and also chevrons, because that's what they are above the brick wall. And also there is a map of Gran Valley, which is actually pretty neat through there, through the first tunnel. So, heading across the bridge now for the final time here in this race. My lap times have basically been getting quicker lap after lap, and I'm doubtless in saying that will probably not be the case, but if I do manage to officially set a new purple lap time for the 4th time in a row, then that would be even better. But at the moment it does not look like I'm going to achieve that. But I will try. And see if it's possible for me to achieve such a task. Even then, of course, if it sounds like I will only succeed by little prevail. But I'll still try anyway, because that's what I do. You know, because trial and error, it's what I do. Well, I do it very unnecessarily, but yeah, it's what I do. Anyways, final corner now, and I'm pretty certain this is where my string of fastest lap ends, and indeed it does, but fortunately it doesn't matter because I've still dominated this race anyway. And it's taken me just over 22 minutes to finish this race, and officially let's now wait for everybody else to finish, and then we can get down to the final point standings of this championship overall. Alright, everyone has managed to finish, and I pretty much won that race by virtually a full minute. Over silver, then it was white in third, followed by red, yellow finished in fifth, and then at the back was black. And so, these are the final point standings. So it is 4 out of 5 wins to me, and also 1 win to silver in the end of the championship. And officially, I have won this by 18 points. So, 4 out of 5 victories in this championship over silver, who has 28 points, white is third with 22, red fourth with 14 points, ahead of black by a single point, who has 13, and then at the back with 7 points, it was yellow. So there we go. And I am pretty much back up to 1 million, and just for confirmation purposes, yep, I do have a replay saved, and let's now move onwards to the prize car. And yes, I did check my microphone to see if it was on and it was recording this, and we only win the 30 grand from this, but again, it doesn't matter too much because we still won the championship. And what car do we get this time? Oh, okay, we get a Toyota Supra. Yeah, I'll accept this. It's a thing, okay? I will accept the Toyota Supra. Because obviously this is a car I did not expect myself to win, but anyways. So there's just that one race at Route 11 reverse we need to sweep up, but besides that, we have pretty much swept up 4 out of 5 races. And next time we shall be doing the Elise Trophy. But before we do that, let's check our stats. So we are now 47.5% complete, and officially I now have a total of 189 wins in 229 race starts. And this is my prize car. A Peridot Pearl Mika Toyota Supra RZ. And effectively overall I can probably say this is the best looking Supra in the range in my honest opinion. Because lots of people really love the way this thing looks. And it will certainly be a car that I will probably have some usage for in the near future, but to what event I'll use this thing for, well, you'll just have to wait and see. So even though we only get 30 grand from the championship overall, I still get a pretty good prize car, even though some may not agree, but yeah, there we go. So that was the professional Vitz / Yaris race, and next time we shall be doing the Elise Trophy. Stay tuned.